All rise for the honorable profession of Judge Ariana Elizabeth Sevian Calvicio.
Order in the court. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Today we are here to testify Friar Lawrence for the second-degree murder of Romeo, Montague, and Juliet Capulet. Prosecution, you may begin with your opening statement.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we are here today to witness and determine the fate of Friar Lawrence. Friar Lawrence is being tried today for second-degree murder of Romeo Montague and Juliet Capulet. Without any concerns of what his actions might lead into, the aftermath of his actions, he married them without any stipulations, without anything. He just did it. Now, when Romeo was exiled from Verona for the murder of Tybalt, Juliet was very, very sad.
1 minute left.
My apologies, Judge. Friar Lawrence, gave Juliet a poison that would make her seem dead, but not be truly dead. This right here put in motion a set of events that eventually led to the death of both Juliet and Romeo. Today, I urge you to look at all the facts and all the evidence pointing to why Friar Lawrence is guilty for second-degree murder. Thank you.
Thank you. Defense, please give your opening statement.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, please keep in mind that most of what she said is hearsay. After hearing what the district attorney has just said, let me tell you what really happened. Juliet, may I remind you, as a 13-year-old minor, got married to an 18-year-old man. She has no common sense whatsoever as to what the meaning of marriage really is. Romeo, who snuck into Juliet's family's party, tricked Juliet into believing that she truly loved him. In reality, Juliet was just too young to understand that she was just a rebound from the fair Rosalie. Therefore, the defendant, Friar Lawrence, is not guilty, but Romeo is. This was just a tragic accident that was unavoidable.
Thank you, defense. You may take a seat. Prosecution, please call up your first witness.
Your Honor, the prosecution calls Mr.
Oh my heavens! I'm so sorry I'm late.
Completely and utterly disrespectful. Where were you?
My apologies, Your Honor. I was consulting my master.
Your Honor, this is unacceptable behavior. This should be an automatic mistrial.
Prosecutor, you are limited to 3 questions to ask Mr. Montague.
I understand, Your Honor. Thank you, Mr. Montague. Please take a seat. Mr. Montague, what is your relationship to Friar Lawrence?
I do not know this man you speak of.
So, Mr. Montague, correct me if I'm wrong, but this Friar Lawrence, a man you had no knowledge even existed, snuck into your child's life without your permission, had taken advantage of him, who is basically still a child, does not have any knowledge, and married him to a 13-year-old girl.
I had no knowledge of this, ma'am.
So, Mr. Montague, what you're saying is this. Friar Lawrence, the defendant, a man you have never met, a man you have no trust with, took advantage of your child. How did you let this happen?
Yes, ma'am, that is correct.
So let me sum it all up for you. Friar Lawrence, a grown man, got into a life of the 18-year-old boy, Romeo Montague, married him to a 13-year-old child, Juliet Capulet. Does this have any ethical underlines? Any at all? No. Thank you, Your Honor. That was all.
Defense, please begin the cross-examination of Mr. Montague.
Mr. Montague, is it not true that when you turn 18 in the city of Verona, that you are an adult and you are responsible for making your own choices?
Well, hold on a minute.
A yes or no answer will do.
Yes, that is correct.
Other questions, Your Honor?
Prosecution, please call up your second witness.
Your Honor, the prosecution calls Nurse as its second witness.
Nurse, come on.
Thank you, ma'am. Please take a seat.
Just as we did with Mr. Montague, you are only allowed 3 questions.
Nurse, is it or is it not true that you knew everything that Mr. Lawrence, Mr. Montague, as in Romeo, and Miss Capulet, as in Juliet, were doing? Were you aware of everything that was happening since the night of the Capulet party?
Yes, I was.
My next question is, did you know Friar Lawrence previously to the encounter with him when talking about Romeo?
No, ma'am. I had not met him before.
So, nurse, let me get this correct. You have never met this man before. How did you trust him when he said that marriage was the best thing for Romeo and Juliet and allowed it to happen?
Actually, I didn't want her to marry Romeo. I wanted her to marry Paris, but she was so wrapped up in the thought of loving Romeo that I had to support her in her decision.
Thank you, nurse. The prosecution rests.
Nurse, you may be seated too. Now, defense, begin your cross-examination questions.
No questions at this time, Your Honor.
That will be all for today. We will finish tomorrow, 12 p.m.
All rise for the honorable profession of Judge Ariana Elizabeth, CBA Calvicio.
Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Order in the court! Now it's time for the opening testimony of Friar Lawrence.
Though it may seem like I'm guilty, I truly did not know Romeo was gonna use this in such a bad manner. Juliet and Romeo are both my friends, and I thought they were just in love and wanted to be happy with each other.
Prosecution, you may begin your cross-examination.
Mr. Lawrence, is it or is it not true, in the city of Verona, in order to sanctify the marriage, you must consummate after being married?
I believe it is true.
So, knowing that Juliet was 13 and Romeo 18, you understood that what this marriage entails, what would happen.
I did.
So, how could you condone the consummation of a 13-year-old and an 18-year-old?
Well, I just thought they were in love, and I wanted to support my friend Romeo.
And even after all of that, you knew that it hadn't happened. So you and Nurse perhaps tried to get them together after Romeo was exiled?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
You may be seated. Defense, you may begin your examination.
Is it or is it not true that in the city of Verona, it is legal to marry a 13-year-old girl to an 18-year-old man?
It is legal in the city of Verona.
So technically, you were not in the wrong by marrying them?
That is correct. I was not in the wrong by marrying Romeo and Juliet.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Prosecution, you may begin your second cross-examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Lawrence, in later events, after Romeo was exiled for killing Tybalt, Juliet Capulet's cousin, to clarify, did you or did you not give her a potion with the intention of her making it like dead?
I did give her a potion
Why?
because I thought that her and Romeo were in love and I wanted them to be happy together.
You continually say you thought they were in love. Why do you say that?
Well, in the end it seemed maybe they weren't, but I'm not 100% sure.
But they both died for each other. How is that not love?
Well, maybe it is. I can never know.
Mr. Lawrence, just to clarify, your intentions were as follows. You gave Juliet Capulet the poison.
1 minute left.
Thank you. The poison to create a false image of her death. Then, as your plan, if it went accordingly, you would tell fair Romeo of Juliet's fake death. But that didn't happen, did it?
No, I'm afraid not.
Because your messenger was incompetent. You are behind Mr. Romeo's death, which in turn makes you behind Juliet Capulet's death.
I was never behind any of those deaths.
Yes, maybe not in first degree. Maybe second degree, though?
I never wanted to harm either
And
Romeo.
yet you did.
I didn't mean to.
And yet you did. No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. You may be seated. The jury will now begin to converse about the verdict.
All rise for the honorable profession of Judge Ariane Elizabeth Stephen Calvicio.
Thank you. You may be seated. Jury, have you reached a verdict?
Yes, Your Honor, we have. We, the jury of the city of Verona, have come to the conclusion that the defendant, Friar Lawrence, is guilty of the second-degree murder of Juliet Capulet and Romeo Montague.
I, Judge Ariana Elizabeth Stephen Calvicio, sentence the Friar Lawrence to 25 years in jail for 2 counts of second-degree murder without parole. I hereby announce that this court session is now over.
Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed.